the empowerment of Ghost, and they decide that no Karma will be allowed for BBQ.
Well, the Rise is going to be the follow-up. Bit curious on the Karma ban, to be honest, but probably have a plan here as Azir is going to be the follow-up.
Oh, Kongdoo definitely want a first pick into the Olaf this game, as well, they haven't found much success on in terms of games. Raze has had a couple of good performances on the Olaf.
And Tahm Kench is once again going to be a ban here by BBQ. It was Rise and Tahm and Jhin in our first match.
You guys are wondering about red side in this particular meta. There is a lot of flex picks that can be used, like the Swain and the Sion, for example, that are strongest on red side because you have that last pick on the red side. And also, the must first pick champion list is kind of just Olaf, who is going to definitely be locked in this game, as apparently BBQ doesn't want to deal with the Jhin at all.
But the Lovers duo is going to be able to be locked in here. Xayah Rakan, the Rakan was on the ban list in game number 1 and now going to escape. So that's a lot of power for Ghost and Ignar down there. And Ignar on Rakan is a really scary prospect. Often you talk about Xayah being strong, but no, this is all about empowering Ignar.
And we'll see if Kongdoo can recreate what BBQ did in game 1, because your first thought is that it's probably going to be something like a hyper carry against the Xayah and Rakan. It's Caitlyn and Ezreal, the ones that dominate lane. You'd want Caitlyn to empower the Olaf, and they go that way. So this is going to give Raze a very nice laning phase. If we get a ranged support, if we get a melee support, there's no guarantees that Caitlyn and Braum can win the 2v2. On paper, they should, but we've seen that lane actually go against that duo from time to time, and we will see the Sion flex pick on the blue side.
Well, Sejuani now an option here for Trick if he wants to pick it up. We've spoken about the fact that you can use that Arctic Assault so effectively to escape the Olaf, and does make some sense, but it means that Swain will probably be chucked onto the ban list this time around. BBQ not opting into it. Thought that that would be a lot of fun to have Tempt and Crazy have the option of flexing it. Not going to happen. Interesting that Sion was given more priority, but Roach and Edge happy to play with that one as well.
I'd see some range supports banned. I'd like to see the Thresh banned away from Kongdoo. I think that will give them the best possible 2v2, and they could have some creative ganks with the Olaf. For now, they're going to ban away the Braum. Very, very strong against the Deadly Plumage coming through Xayah Rakan.
Yep. Thresh still an option if they want to have some engage and push and pseudo range on the bottom side. Certainly things that Secret can go towards. I feel like Alistair could be another option for the bans. Coming out from BBQ is Taliyah. Is going to see a ban. Tempt, of course, always fantastic Taliyah player. Hasn't played it all that much this season. Only one game so far, I believe, and not quite picking up the win.
Disappointing from our Pentakiller on...
Exactly. He was so good.
A great Taliyah player, but has preferred the Azir that kind of goes hand in hand with the Taliyah for the majority of the season. I wonder if it'll be a Sion mid lane, because I was trying to think of who Kongdoo could put in the mid lane, as BBQ aren't necessarily going to show their hand when it comes to mid laners, and they choose not to ban away the Thresh, so that will be visited by Kongdoo.
Yeah, the Alistair is the option that they go for. Now Kongdoo trying to find the Swain button, so I would like to see it picked up by BBQ first round if they can continue the flexibility moving down the draft.
It's almost like BBQ are saying, why not go back to Leona, to Secret? Of course, had a very poor performance on the Leona in game number 1. Now, Leona is very prized into Xayah Rakan, but with confidence low as our 10th place team, hard to see them want to go that way. BBQ would do well, I feel, to lock in their top laner here and then hold mid lane to the last pick. That's what I would prefer, because I would not like to see them show their hand there and allow Kongdoo to get lane pressure in mid lane to go along with their Caitlyn lane and bot lane. So I like the fact that they're just going to go for the top lane here. They can hold mid lane for later. Because I was thinking about Kongdoo and I was saying, okay, if Sion's in the top lane, what mid lane are they going to want? And something like a Malzahar would have fit very well in some matchups.
Yeah.
But not showing the matchup forces them to show their Sion flex pick. Blue side doesn't have the same flexibility. Red side does with those flexes.
Well, the Ultra Flex is available here for Kongdoo, as the Swain still available.
And they decide they really like what was used against them if they do go the way of the Morgana. And we mentioned that Morgana is this NA and EU LCS counter against the Rakan.
Yeah. BBQ not actually expecting that one to be picked up in answer, so already a lot of tools available for Kongdoo Monster. We know what Raze is capable of in the early game is, yeah, there it is, the true flexibility until the very end of this draft is going to go into the hands of Kongdoo Monster.
Very frustrating to deal with flex picks even on the blue side, but it's probably going to be the Swain mid lane, you would imagine. Waiting to see what's decided. If it's Swain top lane, then Orange just builds a banner of command, and Swain's really sad in that case.
Yep.
So they're going to go for their mid laner, most likely into the Swain. It might be Cassiopeia trying to actually punish in the laning phase. Haven't seen a lot of value in Cassio, and very late decision. Tempt's going to go into the Vel'Koz. We've seen a couple of people visit the Vel'Koz after Crown brought it back. Going to try to outrange the comp from Kongdoo. That part to some degree is possible, unless the Olaf gets ahead, and then Vel'Koz is going to have a sad time.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty rough up against Edge as well on the Swain, because not a lot of mobility on the old Vel'Koz, so if you get hit by that Never move, you best believe you're probably going to take all of the follow-up damage as well. Pretty hard to damage trade the Swain out of lane at the same time.
Kongdoo don't get ahead. They have to worry about team fights because Orin gives no mundos about the Morgana Black Shield. He'll be able to register on the entire team with his engage, and then Rakan can go in and tie up a team, and that is the sort of thing that will allow Vel'Koz to prosper in the backline. If the Olaf is ahead, they can threaten a lot more of backline dive. If the Olaf is behind, that threat goes away. So that duality of Olaf, usually deciding or being decided on when it comes to a jungler, a snowball jungler to be true, is going to be fun to watch as Kongdoo try to find the greatest hits of what BBQ were fielding in game number 1.
Yeah, it's really nicely done. Edge back onto the Swain as well, so I wanted to have a better performance this time around. And remember, it was First Blood that did kind of skew things in favor of BBQ very early in our first game. So now the reset needs to happen for Kongdoo Monster. They need to get themselves back into gear and see whether they can find a win as we move into game 2.
It's a hype one. BBQ win. They're most likely out of those relegations, so definitely eyes on BBQ.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can do it. BBQ wanting that clean 2-0 to move themselves ahead of MVP and get themselves an option to try and escape those relegation matches. Let's do it. Game 2 coming up right about now. Oh, well, at least we've got some passionate fans in the audience. Not a whole lot of people here for game number 1 so far, but still some passionate fans.
Ooh, I wonder if Joel's reading this and can let us know what sort of beef is going on here.
There's a lot of beef. The arrows, man. Oof.
Tell it's all about.
I feel like friendships could potentially be over after this
sometimes
series.
on the line in matches like this.
Yeah,
exactly.
Friends but enemies. Frenemies.
Star-crossed lovers, we've seen a lot this week as Xayah and Rakan have been separated. It
How
seems
very
like
topical of you, Papa.
Exactly. The allegiance is also going to be separated between those two, and like we say, we know that BBQ needs this match win to get them out of relegations, and we get our first sighting of the Morgana into the Rakan. Makes a lot of sense, because you think of how Rakan works, it's often flash quickness into the ground entrance to stop there from being any real counterplay. You get the Black Shield at the right time, you laugh at both abilities, and you're able to get through. But if you get the drop on the Morgana, much harder to pull off, as they might be going for a level 1 play.
There's the grand entrance. The Secret is going to throw out the exhaust, but is it enough? That's heal and ignite that are down, but Ghost has to use his heal as well just to get out of the way. Dark Binding, very, very close, and the trade actually working out very well because Secret, he's the one with all the potions.
Exactly, the health trade goes the way of Kongdoo Monster. They aren't able to confirm the kill. No one flashing under turret at level 1. Like the idea from BBQ, but it is turned against them. Ghost can't get some very happy sustain going on in the lane. He doesn't have, of course, lifesteal on his autos.
Well, speaking of taking a lot of damage, Ignar, Dark Binding's going to register from Secret. Summoner spells did go in favor of BBQ, so I mean that's something that they can be happy about, but that's not going to give them lane control, apart from if level 2 is hit first by BBQ, which it is.
Got their shove on, which they're going to be very happy about. Have the lane a nice spot. Morgana much less strong if her lane is being pushed in, and it's going to be very situational. Caitlyn has obviously a lot of lane presence, and Morgana has the ability to max the Tormented Soul. We'll wait and see what the choice is in terms of max. Again, conventional max. We actually see some Morganas not even put any points in W after the nerf. No longer lets her get the 3 stacks of the Tribute passive available, but saw max on the W coming through from Ignar. That, of course, wouldn't have gone unnoticed by Secret.
Yeah, I feel like with a build that has more of a focus, like so not having the Airy, I mean, it's just a great way of putting down Airy. to use that Tormented Soil, so that sort of makes some sense. If you're not going to level it at all, I think that you go for that Glacial Augment build. As Trick taking a lot of damage. The flash from Raze gets him in there. Can he land any more of the damage? No, oh yes he can. There's the fadeaway. I thought it was the Axe going further up, but Raze, another couple of autos, and Ignar is going to get the follow-up kill. Soul going so aggressive, but misses the Peacemaker, and double buffs Rakan is doing work. Edge taking so much damage in the mid lane as well. It's a 1-for-1, but Raze got the first blood, and I think that puts Kongdoo ahead.
Is it really ahead when you give double buffs over the enemy team? It was always going to be double buffs. He took a turret shot and the duo lane was there. Of course they were there. It's 3 minutes into the game. So I'm not really sure that giving double buffs to either Xayah or Rakan is the right decision, but the bloodthirstiness has to be respected.
Absolutely. I like it. I feel like if you're going to go out, you're going to go out with a bang, and Kongdoo Monster says, we don't have very many more games to play here in the LCK, and we might take a trip out for summer as well, so let's just do some things.
I think many times Kongdoo have gone down with a whimper. They want to go down with a fiesta at minimum in this game, Atlas.
That's the dream. Permafrost is going to come down as the slow comes in from Temp, gets the pop-up, and he's going to grab a kill for himself as well. This lane got real hard for Edge real fast.
And also the Olaf has now given up 2 deaths already, and we mentioned that he needs to be there to threaten the Vel'Koz in the backline as the game goes on. You're much more accountable when your Flash is down, when your Ragnarok is down, but he invested both to go for that greedy kill, and now can be turned upon. There's a lot more counterplay available for BBQ.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, last game we were talking a lot about where these teams are strong, where we're trying to get the fights happening for both BBQ and for Kongdoo Monster. Where do you think that has changed now for both sides? Do Kongdoo have a similar team to BBQ last game?
They definitely do in terms of the draft they've gone for here. They very much have a mid laner who spikes a little bit later but can still zone control from the time he gets his ultimate. To me, the problem is that when you go Vel'Koz, you have a lot of threat onto medium range champions, and everyone on Kongdoo Monster except for the Caitlyn is super medium range, 500 or less on a lot of these champions. And then Vel'Koz, if he doesn't have to care about Olaf in his face, will just ult everyone to doom. They need the threat of Olaf being able to walk up or Olaf being able to counter jungle and get the objective snowball going. Because remember, Kongdoo Monster had to deal with BBQ in the first Drake, the Rift Herald, all those other objectives. Much harder to do that when your Flash is down, when Ragnarok isn't available. So they need Raze to once again get his items together, get some successful ganks, get the farm on. Otherwise, the game plan does fall apart.
Well, still opportunities here for Kongdoo. They're not too far behind, about 500 gold as the battle dance. The extended range going to do some work here for Ignar. Cute little Gleaming Quill comes out, but Secret, he's searching for a bind. Look for it onto Ghost. Does land it here and get some decent damage. You can see Tormented Soil is actually picked up. So Secret going for the same option that Ignar went for. We'll see whether the Max actually comes in as well. Still just trying to push things out. Raze once again pays a visit to the bottom side. Control Ward is going to be collected. As the pop-up not going to land, and Temp not going to find any of the extra buttons as well as the Void Fissure goes wide.
And if you think of the laning phase, why Vel'Koz and Swain, because first time we're seeing this matchup, do note that Swain is very, very predictable in how he lanes. You know that he's going to walk up and try to engineer a way to get max value out of his Q and get the mana refund and push the wave. Then you're opening up for the E from the Vel'Koz and potentially the all-in post-6. There's a lot of all-in options for Temp to try to do significant damage out of threat range on the Swain himself. So that predictability may be turned around, and outranging Swain, whether it was old Swain or 2018 Swain, was always the way to actually inflict hurt on the largely very immovable Swain.
Well, at the moment, Edge is able to catch back up in farm. It was Tempt having a little bit more control earlier on, but it's him shoving that wave once and once again into the mid turret, trying to get what he can. As far as the pressure on the map, Edge just getting real frustrated by the fact that his buttons are all registering.
He gets outshoved by Double W coming through from the Tempt on the Vel'Koz, and there's really no counterplay to him to turn that around.
Do you think that it's Edge needing to build a little bit more ability power this time to try and answer?
Just the matchup. There's really no way, because Double W is up so often. It's the first max from the Vel'Koz as well. And if he makes the wrong move, like we mentioned, there's all-in options, as the all-in thwarted by the side of the Black Shield. Do notice it's a Q max, so it's the traditional Morgana max. It's not a pushing build. We saw Tormented Soil onto the range minions into Piltover Peacemaker, off cooldown every minion wave coming through from BBQ. Kongdoo Monster going traditional. It's better for the catch, but not better for the lane control, and they're actually losing in terms of lane pressure to the Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, and I feel like Kongdoo Monster want to do a very similar thing to BBQ as far as push down turrets as quickly as possible, bridge themselves into a later game type team fighting thing. Get over that hump that you do have with the Caitlyn. Tempt is going to lay down some more light, pick up the blue buff for himself and head back underneath this turret. You've got Swain back in base. Not going to invest the teleport this time. Zignar knocks up a few creeps. That's just going to make sure that he can get a preferential push for Ghost. So they're going to stack up a wave.
I know that Sion's supposed to be this, this horror champion, something really scary, the blood-curdling scream as he gets back to lane. But it actually reminds me more of bad horror, where you're laughing at the poor special effects. Because every time he ults, my first thought is, oh, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's just funny.
Yeah, he's just a choo-choo train.
Somehow they have actually been able to bring back the comedic timing of the previous Sion, who was basically an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And where is the Thomas the Tank Engine skin?
Yes!
The fat controller Sion. We need that. He's basically a fat controller anyway.
It's true.
Oh, don't know whether you guys at home have actually watched a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine. It might be a little bit old for you, but music certainly has got to be a thing that everyone remembers.
Parodied on Twitch enough, I think.
I think so. Still very even in that mid lane, and Caitlyn is going to be winning the farm war on the bottom side. Good news for Kongdoo down there. Haven't seen a lot from Raze, but he's been farming a lot. There's now, you've got Trick hanging out. Control ward was put down. Now Ignar.
They're trying to get the Black Shield out of the Morgana, then go for an all-in.
Well, Trick might have to Arctic Assault out of here as, Dark Binding is going to land. Exhaust onto Ignar, and he's stunned up for so long. Soul grabs it. The auto attack goes for so long, and Secret even has the follow-up. Now 2-2. Kongdoo Monster really taking control of the bottom lane.
There's so much CC duration to trade upon that they're always going to get the link into the trap. Raze meeting the jungle. Notice the Trick is not scared. Sejuani very good at disengaging the Olaf.
Has an item advantage here as well, as Ragnarok is down, but it's not going to last very long. Not going to find the Featherstorm damage, but Trick, he waits just enough time, but it's not quite enough. As Ignar goes in once again. He's just not tanky, though. As the flash comes down, it's going to be traded, though, and the pullback from the Never Move. Edge just wants to eat the health bar. They trade it. Oh, my God. That was the best possible scenario for Tempt, but still a bad one for BBQ as a whole.
Yeah, we're going in one by one, getting into that Fiesta territory again. BBQ not able to trade up when it looked like they would. Honestly, Trick was out trading the Olaf in a 1v1, which never happened, given how strongly Olaf is in the trades. They back away. There's no significant gold lead to Kongdoo, but BBQ need to tighten up their play. Otherwise, this game victory is far from assured.
Oh, yeah. Well, Crazy has built himself a big old shield. Aegis has already been completed. It's only the Catalyst done here for Roach, wanting to get towards his Abyssal Mask as quickly as possible. Ghost does sidestep the trap. It's nicely done, but we're not going to find the Grand Entrance. The quickness also thrown in there from Ignar, who's just been pretty trigger happy on all of his buttons so far in this laning phase. Might be that we'll need to get it back from at least the Xayah.
You would think you'd be more acquainted with the fact that Morgana is the big note button into the laning Xayah Rakan especially. Forced to back away. Largely, the visit from Trick was not about a successful gank. It was about pushing out the lane so the Xayah could recall. But in the end, ended up expending the ultimate there from Ignar and getting no gain. Raze himself on a ward. They're going to be going for the first Drake, and they know that at least Xayah did recall.
Well, Ignar over to the side, and Trick is actually down here as well. We've got a battle between the mid laners to try and get here first, but the Infernal Drake should be taken. No AD carry available for BBQ, as that's going to be Raze securing the Dragon. Can anything else come from this? As Crazy throws in the ultimate Secret, really good Black Shield, but now doesn't have it, and Tempt is going to be able to grab that kill. That's another one for the Vel'Kars. It feels really good for BBQ, empowering Tempt. Great move, great idea.
And also they got the teleport out of the Sion, so the one kill in exchange for the Infernal. Not ideal, but it's something.
Back towards the top side.
And look, they actually already have Banner of Command onto the Orange. They're just going to try to start pushing right now.
Yep. And watch him slash. Look at him go. Oh, the best minion possible. He's about as big as the Ornn. He basically looks the same.
I can't tell if he's mad or if he's beatboxing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
That was
playing Rock Band or
This is
something
an
like
awesome
that.
rotation coming through from BBQ. They'll definitely pick up the first brick, the first turret blood from this play. Will be answered as Raze has pretty much on-command attack speed on his W.
Yep. Not a lot of minions here, and there's not a minion wave Kongdoo lining towards them as well. So Kongdoo Monster will take a little bit of extra time, and now you've got that lane swap coming in as Ghost and Ignar will now pay their attentions towards this top outer turret. Continue this potential snowball as they now actually have an advantage. You can see Edge, he's trying to get whatever he can, but now Raze turns up and that should be able to secure it. I was going to say Ignar did get some vision on the situation, but yeah, Trick actually trying to get over here as quickly as possible. It's now going to be a Smite War, as it's going to be won by BBQ. They should have not been able to pick that up. Ragnarok also goes down as the quickness is there. Not quite able to time it as the Black Shield comes in as well. Okay, very close is Tempt to picking up that kill, as this Vel'Koz is very strong.
And Sejuani backed earlier, you remember, she was not involved in actually auto-attacking the turret in bot side. That's why she was in range to actually get in there and steal away the Rift Herald. Picked up by Trick at the end of all of this, so they get another neutral. Remember, once again, let's go all the way back to game number 1 expectations. When you draft Olaf in a comp that is very reminiscent of what BBQ was successful with in game number 1, it's about monopolizing objectives. They're actually trading down in objectives apart from picking up the Inferno.
Yeah, and when are they going to be able to get this mid lane outer turret? You mentioned the incredible wave clear of Tempt with his double fissures that fly through. It's going to be Archangel Staff completed. That's going to continue being a problem because he's pretty damn fed on this big purple monster. Of course, not so much with this skin, but you know what I'm talking about. BBQ just seem to have the answers. It's some of the most intelligent League of Legends on a drafting scale and a strategic scale that we've seen from this team.
I know we've been talking about Swain because obviously the talk on 8.5 is busted champion, so strong. And
yeah.
I was a bit more tempered than you were. I was saying, look, definitely strong, definitely flexible.
You didn't have my solo queue experience.
And look, I played him in solo queue too. He is very powerful, and on the red side, you can do a lot with him. But remember, this is blue side Swain. They had to show their hand. They couldn't flex him to the last pick. And then BBQ said, oh, there's actually a lot of champions in mid lane that outrange and can outdo with the Swain in terms of laning phase. And the Vel'Koz has worked a trick. It's outranged. It's been able to push him in. They haven't got value out of the Swain, and that's why I mentioned that, sure, red side Swain, very powerful, but there's also ways to play around. Blue side Swain, less powerful, and also, if you can set up a big advantage somewhere else and force them to show their hand on the Swain early, you might even be able to outdo a red side Swain as well.
Well, it's certainly happening now. The blue side Swain isn't really a great option. Raze not going to get CC'd anytime soon, but that's not what they care about. Call of Forge God actually going to come in as there's the grand entrance. Tempt gets another one, but it's the flanking play. Can they find any more off the back end from Kongdoo, or have they lost too much? Edge, now it's the perfect opportunity, but it's a triple kill for the Vel'Koz. Demonic Ascension does a lot of damage on the pop for Edge, but now doesn't have a lot more options, and he didn't kill Ghost. Another stopwatch comes in, but Soul, he's here for some auto attacks.
Watch
and
the
W
backside.
actually does get some zoning work done. Tempt now wants to come in. Low health bars for BBQ, but no one's dead just yet. Soul is the first one to die as Ghost gets himself safely out, and now Edge just running away. Not a lot of mana. Trick doesn't have any either, but the Never Move is dodged, and Tempt is able to help pick up the kill for his jungler.
It's a full house, triples and doubles on the side of BBQ. Very nicely done by them. Tempt is able to pick up the kill, stays high in mana, has double buffs throughout it. And we mentioned if there's threat onto the Vel'Koz, things will work out well. The problem was the threats were late, Atlas. They ordered the pizza, but unfortunately the party had already started on the side of Kongdoo Monster because the flanks are there to get onto the Vel'Koz and shut him down. Unfortunately, 2 people are already dead before the threats come in, and even though it's not clean, they don't have damage to actually kill people from BBQ, and that means that eventually, after hitting about 17 traps, the Vel'Koz is able to get in there and help clean up the last members of Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah, it was really good aggro control as well, coming in from BBQ, getting themselves out of the way. The W, no vision's going to be landing here as Edge. Without that ultimate, just isn't as powerful as far as the control is concerned. Somehow Crazy survives this one and actually lets Soul fall down. So like you say, it's the full house. Tempt's full of tricks. They're able to pick it up.
I feel like maybe that's an awkward thing to say on broadcast.
What do you mean?
Tempt's full of tricks. That could be used as a slogan for things we can't advertise on this stream.
I thought it was like a 500 reference. I like playing card games.
I just love that the fact that BBQ's mid laner's tempt for literally chicken temptation. It's great.
Yep, that's why they're never going to get rid of him.
No.
You can't. He has to
Also,
be
he's their best player.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
He is also monstrously fed in this game. A snowball Morellonomicon to shut down the healing from Olaf and the Swain.
Not to mention the fact that magic penetration is so strong if you have snowballed as well, as Roach has a really difficult time with his banner minion. In fact, says that he can't be bothered killing it. You can see Sol still has 20 CS lead on the Caitlyn. His control is certainly there, but BBQ have more been playing around just controlling minion waves, getting objectives where they can. Crazy. Now out of position, going to get hit by one of the CC. Thankfully, that means that one of those soul fragments is able to be torn out. Any sort of immobility is how you're going to grab that for the Swain.
And sadly, Kongdoo Monster's impersonation of the BBQ comp just is that Atlas. It's an impersonation. They didn't put the pieces together as well. They didn't go for the W max to push. Soul's getting harassed down. They're losing in objectives to BBQ.
Yeah. Winter's Wrath almost enough to actually pick up the permafrost onto the Caitlyn, who had to pay the respect. Now with this blue buff falling down, should easily go over to Tempt there as well. 19 minutes into this game, they're in perfect position to follow this up with a Baron because they've got control wards in a triangle around it. Now Call of the Forge God flying through. It's going to knock up two. Soul gets the black shield, but now the follow-up CC is there. Inner turret is going to be the focus as Demonic Ascension is invested into this fight. The knock-up, of course, not going to work. But there's the ultimate out from Tempt, and look at all the buttons pressed by Kongdoo.
And Kongdoo very early disengaged, even before the Life Force disintegration ray came out, because they knew they couldn't deal with the Vel'Koz. They'd used all their CC before getting access to Vel'Koz. It doesn't do a lot because they all walk out of it, but they get the turret. It was all about zoning from the side of BBQ. That means they have 4 turrets to 1, and a very long lane and top lane means the Baron play with these 4 control wards around the blue side jungle gets more and more safe for the side of BBQ.
Yeah, especially if they can keep some of these control wards up. You can see, yep, 4. 1 in the mid lane there as well, so they can't even go through that brush towards the top of mid lane.
You know, it's not the most perfect triangle ever, but it does actually check out.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like... It's like it's trying to be a pentagon, but it's more of like a Kingzone Dragon X pentagon, you know? Just a really terrible one.
Well, Kongdoo Monster need to find a way to reframe this game, but sadly, just like if they botched their execution in Game 1 for BBQ on their Olaf comp, you wonder if they've already missed their window. The Raze is going for a Phage build here, which is interesting. I think he needs health to be able to run at the enemy team. Doesn't have a Warmog's, gone for the Phage, which wasn't Snowball because he only picked up a single kill, so really don't know about that. Black Cleaver onto Olaf means he's going to die real fast.
I mean, I pseudo-understand, given the fact that they don't have a lot of physical damage, and maybe that's why he's trying to get that one done, but
no.
Soul should probably
just gonna
be
die
enough there.
Vel'Koz literally looks at this team and laughs. He's going to absolutely disintegrate them, which is on brand for Vel'Koz.
It certainly is. A little bit on the nose, but I like it.
So, again, we mentioned that they're rolling back what BBQ did, but it feels like it's in a bit of a vacuum. Some of the specifics around the corners are looking a bit off-brand. They perhaps should have gone for the full value of what BBQ pulled off, and now BBQ control the side waves. They have a Vel'Koz that could not be any more fed in terms of kills. 6 kills in 20 minutes is huge in the LCK. They have been able to wrestle back some Baron control, so at least Kongdoo Monster aren't under imminent threat of that. The moment the Baron has started, Baron turned pretty good from BBQ as well.
Yep. The scary thing is that this gets worse and worse for Kongdoo Monster. When that Infinity Edge starts getting built up for Ghost, he's going to get more and more terrifying. We've already got a Zeke's Convergence. And what do we say about Xayah all the time? Any fight where a team is moving towards her, awful times. Any fight when a team is moving towards Vel'Koz, awful times. And what does Kongdoo Monster want to do? Move towards you.
That's what Olaf's all about. It's why you're surprised to see Black Cleaver. This Olaf is super squishy. Because again, remember, he may have bonus resists, but to walk past the CC, he loses them and will die in basically one rotation of spells and an auto attack to Tempt and Ghost. So again, can't be a fan of this outside of if you can make the game only about skirmishing. Force a 2v2 around left, right, and center. Maybe you can make the Black Cleaver Olaf work, but in this scenario, it really doesn't, especially when they're behind.
If he had a Black Cleaver 7 minutes ago, then yeah, that sounds great.
Or if they're up 10-2 and they're just snowballing and Olaf is strong enough, again, fine. But against a 6-kill Vel'Koz, I think it's just categorically a mistake coming through from Raze, which can definitely be taken advantage of when Raze has to face check the Baron, which is coming soon.
Yep, Undertow is going to go wide here as BBQ. Complete control. Cheeky little ward up towards the river. So thankfully Kongdoo have some information, but Trick, he's just going to start off the Baron.
Base check time soon.
Yep. Roach wants to use his teleport to try and get up there. Crazy already in position. Good double knock up. Disintegration Ray gets the flash out of Soul. They're actually going to peel away from the Baron. BBQ want to get more because there's low health members everywhere
Did
on
80%
Kongdoo.
of the health to 2 people instantly from the Vel'Koz. Crazy cancels teleport. They're going to go straight to this. They're going to get the easy first check from Swain. When that's down, what are they going to do?
Well, Crazy set up to get a call. The Forge got around here and he's going to throw it in now. Doesn't actually find any knockups as there's the onslaught from Roach. Yep, Tempt should actually be taken out here and it's going to be the Swain that gets it. BBQ, they trade one back, but it's a double kill now for Edge and Ghost. He's a huge deal, Tempt a huge deal, and BBQ no more options as far as Baron at all.
BBQ's exit there was really bad. They left both Tempt and Ghost out to dry. And they end up getting a 2-for-1 on the side of Kongdoo Monster, a bonus that shouldn't have been there. We'll watch the replay, hopefully, and be able to inspect why things went so horribly bad for the side of BBQ on the exit. That means Kongdoo Monster get time they didn't have to push up their waves. Let's see how this can possibly happen. We were focused on the bottom side, but they just kind of leave the threats, and Roach gets up, gets the point-blank ultimate there to knock up Tempt. He dies. Ghost also split away from his tank line. Ignar, Crazy, and Trick on one side, the threats on the other. That cannot happen again.
Yep. Just walking the wrong way. Could have just gone up and around the Baron pit, but as a team, just decided for the wrong option. Few minions now to clean up, but really good staving off as far as the pressure was concerned by Kongdoo Monster. Now they're going to claim vision control. You can see control wards of their own down here to try and get themselves vision of the pit. Sort out exactly what is going to happen. But you can imagine BBQ probably pretty happy to continue the pressure. They're still up by 4,000 gold. They've got a BF sword now to augment the 2 items that Ghost had already picked up. He's having a good time, although 0, 1, and 8 doesn't feel great as an AD carry. It means that his Vel'Koz is very, very strong.
Seems like there's actually going to be a Zeke's convergence onto Morgana. First time we're going to be seeing this.
Yeah.
It's not quite as good as when it is onto the Rakan, because while Morgana can be an initiator, he has to flash ult and then she dies after the stasis effect. She does have the stopwatch in the hand, but then she dies, whereas Rakan has the battle dance in order to get out again. Speaking of battle dances, BBQ is going to start one dance. They're already on the Baron.
Yep, they're going to just walk up. We've got a disintegration ray available here for Tempt as well if he wants to try and herd them away. Call the Forge God flying in as Ignar wants to get the flank. Is going to get one of the knockups as immediately the Swain going to be irrelevant in this fight. They turn around. Roach now the focus, but the backline from Kongdoo is doing work. Ray's getting in there, but he's going to be taken down. There's the Black Cleaver for you, not doing the work that it wanted to. They lose Ghost, but they should still be able to get some damage on this Baron.
It's going to be a slow one, though, Atlas. They don't have any consistent damage. Only the Vel'Koz, who needs to also be there for Peel. Speaking of that, there's no damage on Kongdoo Monster's side either, but this one's going to take a while.
Yep, Roach and Secret going to see what they can do. You're right.
Looks like the Baron's healing.
Inevitability is going down very, very low.
If he's behind the pit, he's going to take more damage.
Embrace from Tempt as well. Actually baited Roach in there, but the Black Shield not actually going to be enough. It's going down very, very low. BBQ's a bit of a fiesta in here in the Baron pit. They do manage to get the smite, and Roach, when he comes back as a zombie, can do a lot of work. There's the stopwatch you were talking about. Edge has made it back in with the teleport. They do get over the wall, and BBQ get the Baron, but that was interesting.
Slowest Baron we have ever seen when a team was on it. And by a team, I mean 4 or more.
Yeah.
Holy balls, that took a long time to kill on the side of BBQ. And the problem is that you watch the fight, and the decision is, well, we're going to leave Ghost out to dry after the start because Vel'Koz is stronger. But Vel'Koz's ultimate is gone. Ghost walks up too far. It's bad positioning from him. He dies. And while, okay, your MVP is going to be the Vel'Koz, he is the more fed one, it does mean that even when you get 3 kills, the Baron is super slow.
Yeah, Ghost actually just trading his life for Soul, which I can understand in theory, but you're right. Keeping yourself alive when you're the only real Baron damage is a good idea. Now has himself the Merc Tread, so not going to get stunned up for as long. And there's a Rabbidan's Death Cap for the 3rd item coming in from Tempt, so he's got a hell of a lot of AP. Even with a Baron buff on top of that as well. So 6,000 gold the lead. BBQ certainly still in control.
I was told NALCS ended on the weekend, but we're getting a bonus game here.
Oh man, I thought I was being a bit ruthless in the last game, Papa. Man.
That was a Baron Fiesta that Renegades would be proud of, I'm going to say. Anyway, BBQs did get the Baron. They still have it.
Yeah.
I don't believe the buff went on to Ghost, but I couldn't actually tell if he respawned in time. He did not. You get the confirmation now. BBQ going to push through the bot side. They can push up. They still have the Vel'Koz, which makes diving in for Kongdoo Monster a one-way trip. But speaking of trips, we're going for one.
Yep, speaking of, so Roach is going to start this one off. Call of the Forge God, though, looks to be getting so much work done. Tempt just cleans up Soul. Black Shield can't get through all of that damage that Tempt has available to him. He's got a Witch's Hat. It's doing so much work, and they take down the turret as an afterthought.
Every time they go in, you get the full value out of Ghost and Tempt. You lose every fight like that. Just Kongdoo Monster this time. The threats were safe. They weren't actually in the firing line like they were a couple of times around Baron. Baron still for a minute, looking to break the base on this push.
Yep, the coordinated skins coming in from Crazy and Tempt as well just mean that that ram, when it's coordinated with the massive light beam, just looks like it just does a million damage. It's exciting to see Ornn actually doing damage. Not a thing that we're used to, but now we're gonna keep pushing forward here as BBQ. In goes Ignar. They've got a banner of command on this melee minion yet again. Oh, I'm so glad that we're getting so many more of those. As Roach is going to smack it to death. BBQ, they do manage to get one Nexus turret and will now pull out.
Game on end here, but getting one next turret is a good sign that next push, they get a couple of members, it could be able to end the game fairly bloodlessly. No need for an ace here on the side of BBQ. They're loading up in items. Tempt has about the sweetest hat you could ever want. He decided to go for slot efficiency and hold on to an amp term just to show what kind of man he is.
It means that he can like chill out after he's won the team fight and just read his book, you know, for the bad manners.
That hat actually represents 175 AP and 179 bonus for a casual 364 AP.
It's a lot of AP, Cotton.
350. 354 AP. Quick maths fails me for a second there.
That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to say that he's got lots and lots of damages, which he certainly does. Now, potential final push to come in here. There's no real good name for Rabbidan's Uber Death Cap.
It's a pretty sweet hat. That's what we call it.
Oh, right. Sorry. Just a pretty sweet hat?
Yeah. There was a black and white cat and Postman Pat. Why can't we have a pretty sweet hat?
Yeah, nice. I know I've got Thomas the Tank Engine and Postman Pat in the one broadcast. It's probably my favorite series ever.
That was the sickest rhyme I've ever dropped on LCK1 as well.
Rap God Papa Smithy.
That's what I'm going for.
Well, BBQ, they're looking for the sickest push into these inhibitor turrets. With super creeps coming down towards the bottom side, it should be just a matter of time, but the Baron buff has worn off. Now they're just going to group themselves up. Still the bottom lane hanging out. Ghost and Ignar towards the top side. And they'll rotate over. Look at this, big conga line. A lot of high damage minions. Heading towards the one remaining Nexus turret, and they do need to pay more attention to that, purely due to the fact that they don't have the options. Trick, that was a bit silly.
I think he was trying to mask his ultimate, but went into the trap and thus was not able. Get anything out of it? Never mind. We'll back away. One of the mechanics that most high-level Sejuanis know is that you can mask your ult cast animation with the Q.
Yep.
But obviously when you go in a trap, you look a bit silly.
Also probably trying to bait out a Black Shield as well, but Secret didn't bite. Could have been another option for the next levels.
Really don't like Zeke's convergence on reactionary champions, which sadly, no stopwatch means the Morgana spot will be that. They walk up, they want to break the base in the second spot.
Yeah, Call of the Forge God does fly in here as the choo-choo train is going to miss the station. Roach is going to head on back. Never move, not landing on a Ghost either, so not a lot of relevant damage at all coming out, but they do stave off a minion wave at least. Minions hanging out down here, but super creeps versus banner creeps. I think the super creeps are going to win that war. There's another line of minions heading down here, and it just feels like a matter of time. Baron, a minute and a half away. They could just grab another one. As there's the ult coming down a little bit late on the black shield coming in. And Soul is not going to take too much damage from the disintegration ray. Thankfully, his range is high enough, and his position was good enough to keep him out of the way of it. This Ghost will be able to clean off this turret. Can they get anything more off the back end? Crazy taking a lot of damage. Grand Entrance gets flashed into now as the Demonic Ascension is at least keeping Edge alive. He flashes over the side, wants to get more, but Redemption keeps them all alive yet again. Roach now trying for another engage. Crazy still alive for so long. Bellows Breath gets him a shield that's enough, but no casualties just yet. Just the tower falling down on the side of Kongdoo Monster.
I've never seen Sion ult twice in a team fight, but he was able to in that one. Somehow able to do it again. Felt like he had a refresher orb or something going on there, but that's not in this particular MOBA.
Which game are we playing?
You know, in this series, I've had to think about that a couple of times. I think it's still League of Legends. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, not Super Busy Kitchen or something like that.
But BBQ back away, not really getting too much more. They get only an inhibitor turret that time. They don't get the second inhibitor of the game. Maybe they're going to need a second Baron to close it off, and they do have great ability to turn off Baron. Ward put down by Secret. They're hunting for whoever they can find.
Yeah, and they're a little bit invisible right now as well. It's Call of the Forge God. This is a split Kongdoo monster. They're going for Edge, actually, given his position a little bit further out, and they'll take him down very easily. Didn't have Flash available, used it in the last fight a little bit overly aggressively and didn't get anything for it, and is now punished. There's the trap line. Trick, he really likes Cupcake, so he's happy to take that one, even though in this skin they don't have them. Inhibitor going to be the next option, and 4 versus 5, they don't need the Baron to get the positioning to get down here. Soul avoids the Q. Plasma Fission not going to fly through onto Soul, so at least he's going to stay at high health.
Backing away to the Baron here, BBQ, or the Baron bait, as we can see. Tentacle Monster looking for a turn.
Yep. Purple Monster versus Purple Monster. Who will win?
They should know their rewards here because they saw one go over the wall. As you imagine they saw one go over the wall. Sometimes vision toggles can be trolling.
Yep. Oh, Ignar, once again. I mean, it's always flanks from this team.
Oh, yeah. That's why Rakan is a good ban against BBQ and Afrika, like we mentioned, rather than the standard Xayah against some teams. When we see SKT later in the day, that's a team you ban Xayah against, as Bang has been a beast on that champion.
Ignar is now spotted, though. There was some vision down there, and Kongdoo Monster, they're going to have to invest double teleports to try and get over here, and BBQ say, all right, thanks. We'll take that. Kongdoo get themselves at least into position in the river, but wards are going to be taken down now, and BBQ just have so much control. Bottom lane inhibitor is going to respawn, but there are super creeps, I think, still belting on it. Not sure whether that's going to survive as Raze going to be able to use the Ragnarok. That's another cooldown that they needed for the upcoming fight. And look at the red dots on the bottom side of the map, still converging on that inhibitor.
It's all about counting your cooldowns. You know Ragnarok is down. If you see a black shield, you're ready to go on the turn, or an ultimate still available.
Yep, no teleport on Edge still as well. Still some teleports available elsewhere on Kongdoo Monster, but there's the Ornalt. Really good black shield to stop him from getting it back. As Redemption comes in, 4 members going to be healed back up. Ignar, of course, not there because he doesn't like being there. BBQ now going just towards the top side. The red dots. Yeah, they're going to help them out.
They got Kongdoo Monster out of position on this push, and the minions doing their dirty work in the bot lane as well. Getting swarmed on all sides. It's crazy. Still finds time.
Yeah, it's not time to go shopping. What are you doing?
That's what Owen's all about. Staying true to the lore. Role player to the last is crazy.
Yep, there we go. Going to get pulled back by the Never Move, but he's the tank. They don't want to invest in there. Roach now caught out of position. Good flash. Gets him out of the way of the ultimate from Trick. Glacial Prison now on cooldown for a while, but Baron, they're able to turn back to it if they want to.
What a game we've had here. This has been a fun one here for BBQ and Kongdoo Monster. This should mean free Baron for BBQ as they've broken the base in 3 spots and have 2 inhibitors on cooldown. This time, thank God, they've got an actual 80 carry to hit this.
Yeah, so it's not going to be the world's slowest Baron. It's going to be a pretty quick one. As the Zhonya's, we're just going to check out the fact that Edge had it on cooldown. Not entirely sure why he used it. May have used it off screen. That's why we're being alluded to it.
It's one of those things,
push out.
You know, where Kongdoo Monster have done a lot of things here. We see Edge on the Swain, a new pick. They've clearly lifted the idea of the comp from BBQ. They were playing in game number 1, and they're trying a lot, which is heartening to see because it's the time to try things. They're already out, and they have to play in a relegation tournament. They get 2 games on stage this week. So you want to show something before you have to go hide the strats, get ready for the promotion tournament that is played after the LCK finals. Still in quite a long time. A lot of time to get this sort of practice, and you'd imagine that not every scrim is going to be falling over. Every team is going to be falling over to scrim Kongdoo Monster. So you get your chances where you can. Right now, unfortunately, it does feel like a lot of the ideas are half-baked, and that's why, compared to where BBQ are at in game number 1, 36 minutes in, it seems like we're waiting for the BBQ to close the series.
Yeah, does feel like that. Also makes our next matchup extremely hype. If BBQ are able to take this one down, it's MVP then fighting for their lives to try and stay in. SK Telecom also doing the same thing as far as playoffs is concerned. Now Kongdoo Monster want to try and find an option here. Ragnarok goes down. Yeah, Dark Binding just not really getting the targets, and Roach still soaking damage. BBQ getting themselves back in a position that's good. Ultimate flies in. They're trying to get what they can as Call of the Forge God goes down. Edge gets a black shield just in time, and Roach is going to get taken down to Zombie Bomb. Now the Engage comes in from Ignar, and we know that that's always going to be good when there's no Black Shield available. The zombie goes. Kongdoo Monster lose their top laner, but actually pretty conservative from BBQ at this stage. Speaking of which, actually I'm wrong, as Ghost is going to flash in on top. Edge goes down. The Swain is evacuated from the battlefield. One remaining Nexus turret is just going to be dealt with as Sol. It's another auto attack, or just a few more buttons to come out from BBQ, and they're going to sign the 2-0 death warrant to Kongdoo Monster and keep their hopes alive.
And they get so close to renewing their lease on their LCK spot as well. Now MVP need to win in the next match over SKT, or BBQ will remain in the LCK and MVP will have to battle through the promotion tournament. So all they could do was win 2-0 and hope that the result goes for them. SKT fans obviously praying for that result as well. So the majority of people out there are going to be feeling like BBQ will be retaining their spot. And on today's play, even if they were pulled into the relegation tournament, you'd have to say that BBQ on today's form would easily be able to renew their status in the LCK.
Yeah, BBQ looking brilliant in both games. Still some funny moments happening, that Baron taking about 1 million years, certain other things going not exactly perfectly for BBQ, but not at one stage did they look like they were going to lose that game. Still felt like all of the options were on them. You can see some sad faces on the side of Kongdoo Monster. Hasn't been the best split for them. They will be going down to relegation now. You already knew. But it's just another nail, another dagger. So their hopes are being dashed. Not a lot of times that we see Kongdoo Monster in Summer Split. They're going to have to really pull it together to try and win another promotion tournament like they did to get in here for this spring split.
It seems hard to imagine them being better than the 9th place team and Griffin, given what Griffin have shown, only dropping a single game, no matches, a single game in Challenger. Now, of course, we've had hype teams fall away in the promotion tournament, so no guarantees there,
yep.
But I think Kongdoo Monster are continuing to realize that after 13 straight match defeats, a 2-26 run, that the LCK doesn't seem to be the shoe that fits them particularly well.
Yep, still one more to go. They have a chance to upset SK Telecom if MVP are unable to do it in our match that's coming up just after this. So we're not going to see the last of Kongdoo Monster just yet. They can still play spoiler, which is always exciting. When it's the last place team, sometimes you feel like the blue shell effect can often come into effect. But it is just so hard when Kongdoo have not been looking like they've been able to get the work done. On the side of BBQ, though, things looked brilliant. Temp did so much damn damage. The Vel'Koz making him look real good against the Swain.
And remember, it is BBQ's last series, so we will be having a team interview with BBQ after this and talk to some of the players we have not heard much from. And we should also go over a split that will definitely be very disappointing for BBQ. Their big sponsor, the fried chicken sponsor, who also sponsors the LCK. We'll see their team most likely just about evade relegations, no more. It's better than they've been able to do in some of their recent splits, but not good enough with Trick and Ignar, two very hyped players coming into the lineup. You wonder if there will be roster adjustments for summer. You wonder if they will try to stick it out. A performance against Kongdoo Monster shouldn't influence you one way or the other on whether they have the right troops to actually make a real impact on the summer season. It does end with Tempt picking up the MVP. He has their most MVPs. He's their best player. If you're sticking with anyone, you're sticking with Tempt.
Yeah, one of the best players, I think, actually in the mid lane role in the LCK at the moment. Of course, sometimes you can get a little bit overshadowed, but the guy does seem to be able to perform. This was him picking up what was like the 3rd kill of the game. Things started off pretty bloody in this one, but got himself rolling. Vel'Koz, when you've got some items behind him, just feels real problematic.
You know, that is very, very true. Yeah, the Vel'Koz is able to answer. I'd say the same thing about Olaf, but the items came a lot slower than they did for Trick in game number 1. Able to rush through, get a lot of kills, a lot of disorganized fights, as this time Tempt stepped on about 3 traps before he finally could get there for the final 2 kill involvements. Ended up being the full house, as you mentioned. BBQ, from this moment onwards, the moments you saw 6 kills onto the Vel'Koz, who outranged everyone on the side of Kongdoo Monster, showed the Caitlyn, you knew they were going to win, and they did, even though their execution was, let's say, not the best.
Talking about Trick's interesting ultimate right there.
You know, there were a lot of interesting plays. Ghost, for example, just embracing death in the front line. Could have lived.
Viking friend.
We didn't show the Baron afterwards. That was the real fiesta.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, that would have taken too long as far as the highlight is concerned. We really need to get into our team interview. Like you were talking about, this is the most high damage ram we've ever seen, spelling the end of Soul's life. BBQ did have some really great moments. Did have some great strategic choices as well in this game, despite that ultimate not hitting anything. It was enough to get Edge out of position, and BBQ capitalized on man advantages, on map control, on map situations, and everything. Gather themselves a second Baron and really end this game after this moment here.
And this series should be another reminder that we really do have a 2 through 9 in the LCK. We have a number 1 team, we have a number 10 team, and the parity between BBQ and MVP and some of our top teams has been there time and time again.
Yeah.
You do expect SKT to continue their playoff race and beat MVP, but you're not sure, Atlas, because MVP have been a very feisty team. So have BBQ.
Yeah, and last time out it was actually MVP able to take a game off SKT, but we're talking about BBQ, and we're going to go straight into the interview with Joel, so take it away for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview translations for today. We're here with BBQ Olivers, who do end their season with a high victory, and they do take this with another thing that they would like to be having, and it's just going to be another team interview with BBQ Olivers here. 2-0 clean victory for you guys. How do you guys feel? We knew that, this being the last game, we took importance in it and tried to do a lot more better, and I think we're doing a very good job with that bet. I'm sure, you guys realized if you did lose this game, that relegation would have been a thing, and promotion tournament is something that you guys couldn't have avoided. Whenever we do have these kind of unexpected rates, and we try to just think about the win and nothing else, and I think that's kind of the mindset we came with in today's games. And you do have a lot of these Europe imports when it comes to Trick and Ignar joining the team. I did very well in Europe, but when I came to Korea, it wasn't as good, but I think getting the win in the last game of the split was important for me. And Trick, you had a lot of fame and a lot of kind of expectations when it came to what people expected out of you for Korea. I mean, definitely LCK is a higher difficulty of League of Legends when you have to play yourself, and I think it's a little more freedom when it comes to how much we want to practice. But definitely LCK is a little more strict in that matter compared to ELCS, when it's a little more fun over there, but it's like more serious over here. We actually saw you kind of talk about it off the camera, saying you're never gonna leave Korea and never gonna be accepting offers from abroad. I like Korea, and I think Korea does have the best league in the world still. So I want to stay myself and challenge myself in the best league in the world. And Tempt, it seems like today was a very important game, but disregarding that, you still put a lot of new challenges in, coming with a lot of varieties. I tried to go with those 2 champions that I played today during practice, so I didn't think it was a very unusual pick in my perspective, and I just tried to play what was comfortable for me. Did you not feel a lot of pressure, playing these very unique champions here? I mean, like I said, I've played those champions so many times that it's just more of a comfort pick more than anything. And you do have the most MVP points in BBQ, and of course you very much received the high ratings of being a very safe mid laner. Do you feel like MVP points, is that much of an importance for you when you do pick out your champions and also make your plays? I mean, it's understandable that why our record isn't good. It has the responsibility on me not doing as well either. So. Oh no, but actually, if we actually get back to the team house, he always teases on all of us because he has the most MVP points and we don't have as much anymore. So he kind of bullies us a lot when it comes to that perspective. Yeah, team win is very important. Ignar, anything like to say to that? Just gonna hand over the mics to the bot lane duo. How do you feel about that comment coming from Tent? You're saying the team win is the most important for him and the MVP point does not matter to him. You know, whenever we do get in the game, it feels like he puts in a little bit of dictatorship when it comes to yelling at everyone, trying to get everyone into force. And you do come from Europe just as Trick, and it just seems like we have a lot of cuteness kind of popping off and off when it comes to BBQ. Yeah, I saw Trick, you know, he got a nice haircut when he came to Korea, and I think that kind of alleviated kind of what he potentially had in his cuteness. And I think we try to just challenge each other in who's the cuter guy in BBQ. Well, that's not really true at all. And you know, Tent is kind of the cutest guy in the BBQ Oliver's. And right now, you guys are concluding the spring split right now. How do you guys feel on that one? You know, I didn't try to purposely look cute in front of others, but I try to kind of fit in with all these cuties out there in the team. Of course, with Ghost, we feel like you kind of had the hardest time throughout the split as a player for you, Ghost. How do you feel about it after, you know, concluding the season now? You're kind of done with it now. What can you say about it? I mean, it's highly disappointing that, you know, I couldn't exert my potential of what I was able to do, but you know, getting a win at the very end. I hope that, you know, the support keeps coming our way, and hopefully we're just gonna try to go for the top end. That's what we've been always doing, so hopefully things go better from here. Of course, today's games meant that you got the best result you could have possibly got. But you still have a lot of people still supporting after your back, but you know, we want to kind of talk about, you know, going back to the games here. You know, I want to see what the next game kind of the results will be. I don't want to actually go home. I want to stay in this stadium and see, you know, what the two games can do. But you know, we have to kind of act as a team. So I gotta go back to my team house with the rest of the team here. You know, I'm sure if SKT wins the next game, can you guys promise them chicken or something? You know, money's important, so you know, buying chicken for an entire team is a little something we have to think about a little bit. But I want to maybe film a funny video or something with them. I'm sure you guys are cheering on for SKT all together here. Crazy. You do talk about the players that have originated from BBQ coming onto this next season. How do you feel about your current situation? I mean, instead of playoffs, but it's all about avoiding relegation was important for us. And what kind of emotions do you get when you're about to get to relegations? You know, whenever we get into the games, it's not that bad, but kind of thinking about the relegations and kind of preparing for that, it's kind of the worst thing possible, and it's a nightmare that we always have to keep thinking about it. And also, you know, you do have a lot of these games that are left remaining, but along with Trick, he came into today's split, and if you have an overall kind of conclusion of what the split was for you. I think team-wise we were struggling only in the beginning, but we only kept improving from there. But I was having a lot of slumps back and forth when it came to my performance individually, so that's something I want to improve on a little bit more. You have a little bit of rest in between. And what was the kind of the change when you went through the holidays? Yeah, I think it was all about skills, confidence, and everything that had to go along with. Yeah, I tried to get a little bit of rest as much as I could at that period. I think adjusting to the LCK itself wasn't the difficulty, but you know, controlling my slump was the difficult part throughout the season. Of course, you guys must have been struggling, but you do have with Bono here and also other players who have been cheering you on. Anything that have been supporting you on directly. I mean, Bono played extremely well, but it's really unfortunate to see that he doesn't get to play with us that much anymore. But I wanted to thank him for playing so well, and also with the coaching staff. It just seems like they must have had a harder time than we actually did as players. And of course, I want to tell him good job for helping us out and just keeping us through. Ignore, he has a very much a kind of a OCD when it comes to branding, and you do have you have to have SKT winning out the game. But would you like to say anything to the SKT players as you await the next game ahead? Hello, SKT players. I have a huge faith in SKT bot lane, so please carry the team. Thank you very much. It's a lot of honesty and a lot of truth in what Ignar did say, but including the entire split altogether, anything like to say crazy as the leader of the team. We ended our last game individually. Of course, we had a lot of disappointing performances, and as a team, we could have had much better performances. But I feel like at least for this last game, we got the win. We're thankful for that, but we're also thankful for all the support that we've been getting. Thank you very much, guys, for that. So that will be the end of BBQ Oliver's, ending on a high note with a 2-0 victory over Kongdoo Monster. And we're gonna throw it back to you guys for the next segment.
Thank you very much, Joel.
He's the real MVP.
He is the real MVP, because those ones go for a long time when it's everyone that we've got to get through. But it was good to hear from BBQ, who ended it on a high note.
And we don't give him a pay rise for the team interviews either, so putting in double, triple duty there, translating all the players. Thank you very much, Joel. Thanks to BBQ for a good, clean victory here. There was some missteps in the second series, but otherwise it was good. End result is that BBQ, you'll notice at -10, you say, but Papa, what was this about BBQ being out of relegations? MVP play SKT, and if they lose, they will definitely have a worse game score. They are only ahead in terms of games played, because they have one to play. It's our next up, and guys, this is the one you're here for. If SKT lose, they're out of playoffs. Rox and KSV will go through. If they win, they need results to go their way and to win both their matches this week, but they play MVP and Kongdoo Monster, whereas MVP, if they lose, they're in relegation.
Yeah, and the closeness of this one as well is the fact that even if SKT don't win 2-0, that could actually be a problem. They need to win as hard as they possibly can every single matchup here for the last couple of matches. We never thought we'd be talking about it. SKT trying to fight their way into playoffs, but it's happening this time.
And guys, fight your way back to the LCK stream in about 55 minutes. It's going to be a long break. Sorry about that, but some good League of Legends after the break.
Yeah, exactly right. So don't go anywhere. Well, actually, you can go somewhere, do whatever you can, and we'll see